Rob, sorry, you were away when the Proteas World Cup squad was announced. Any surprises for you there? And
No,
anyone
not,
sort of
not
any
really,
bolters?
not at all. I pretty much tipped the 15 that they did eventually pick. A couple of days before it was announced, I did a piece speculating on the side, and it ended up being exactly that 15. It wasn't necessarily the 15 that I would have gone for individually, but it was certainly the 15 I thought the selectors were going for. And the one thing I will say in their favour, there's always going to be alternative views. So, this player X shouldn't have gone, player Y should have gone, and people come from different sort of provincial angles and all sorts of other perspectives in South Africa. So no major surprises. I think Andrew Hudson and company have stuck to a fairly consistent, settled selection policy over the last couple of years, which has allowed players to kind of cement their places, to feel comfortable within their setup. And now what we'll see at the World Cup is the wisdom or otherwise of that policy, of whether they perhaps should have been a bit more adventurous and brought in a few sort of players from left field. Look, I mean, names like, I suppose, certain fringe players, Farhan Behardien, Wayne Parnell, those are the sort of names that people have been sort of raising question marks about. But let's not forget that Behardien produced a really dynamic innings in his last ODI in Australia. I know it was a dead rubber game, I think, by that stage, wasn't it, Garen? That last Sydney game. But nevertheless, a really good innings. And he does produce that little sort of that sort of slow medium pace that maybe sometimes you do need. I'm not saying he'll bowl big bursts of overs at the World Cup, but if he plays, and if he, say, shares a bowling quota with JP Duminy, where one bowls 6 overs and one bowls 4, he's the sort of guy who, just the change of pace, can just surprise a sort of a batting team that are in good flow for a few overs and just take the sort of the scoring rate down a little bit. So I'm not completely averse to his selection, although a lot of people are.
Garen, I'm going to save the last tough question for you.
Thanks, Nick.
In terms of political pressure, that horrible old expression, that we hate to discuss, cricket quotas. Do you think that that's come into the World Cup squad at all?
I don't really think so. To be quite honest, I think cricket is one of those sports that there are enough genuine players of colour that merit their position in the squad. And as Rob said, it's a fairly consistent squad that's been together for a number of years now. It's not something that we've at the last minute had to rush in a couple of players of colour to make up a certain quota. You've got 15 players. It's an odd number. It's difficult to say that 50%. It's like 7.5 players. There are, I think I stand corrected, Rob, 7 or 8 players of colour in the team,
7 players of colour,
which is as close to 50% as you're going to get, which is certainly a lot more than the rugby team, which obviously they've got their own pressures there. So I think.
Do you feel all these players have been chosen on merit?
I think so. Obviously, like Rob said, there are going to be a few questions over certain players. I think the starting 15 starting 11, pretty much picks itself. It's just those fringe players. Do they really warrant their position? What is the difference between a Ryan McLaren and a Wayne Parnell besides left arm, right arm? One might be a better bowler, one might be a better batsman. That sort of thing. That might be a coin flip. There. So, but I think. The starting 11 is pretty much the strongest we can pick for getting colour for the moment. I think it's a really strong team. I think they'll go a long way in the tournament. For me, the only concerns really are Quinton de Kock and JP Duminy, who have injuries, both in the squad, haven't played for a while. If they both, worst case scenario, are forced to pull out, then that I think will certainly weaken the team, because then I'm not 100% sure who's going to come in, to fill their boots. We're going to have either AB playing keeper or Morne van Wyk, who hasn't really done much in the 2020, coming in there. JP Duminy, I'm not too sure is going to fill that, that 4 or 5 overs that we're hoping to get out of him. And the middle order, he's won a couple of matches for us, coming in at sort of the 6 and 7 position. So that would be a problem. I can see, but if they are fit, I think South Africa go a long way in the tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the final. Holding thumbs, obviously, that they walk away as winners at the end of the tournament.